here we're looking at the whiteboard that I was working on in a previous video. What we're going to show now is another built-in kind of ActivPanel feature that doesn't require any kind of device to be connected to the panel. So again, I'm not connected to my computer. You can see the wires there. We're just going to use the quick functions on the screen to access a different feature that I think will be pretty beneficial. So from any point in here, we can go back to the home screen. If you hit the flame icon on here or just this one, we have that toolbar that pops up. If we hit home, at any point, it's just going to take us back to this. So if you want something that's not going to be distracting, if your panel is on and just a basic, date and time, you can always just tap home. And whatever you had opened, it will kind of just put it in the background and then show this, which is hopefully a little less distracting for students. Now, I want to show some of the more, what I believe to be the most beneficial features, other than whiteboard, of course, because that's a nice feature. Let's go into that screen down at the bottom, and remember, you can hit that one or that one, takes you to the same place. And let's go to Locker. Locker is a place where you can see all of the different kind of features available here through the ActivPanel that are built in. And I want to talk about a couple that we have that I think are pretty awesome. So first up, let's take a look at timer. If you tap timer, it will open up a timer for you. There it is. And there are a couple different options I want to go over here. Again, we can move this so it's not in the way of anything. This right here is just timer 1, but if we tap clock in the drop down, you can set it up as a timer. You can change how many minutes, how many seconds. There are some presets at the top, so a quick 30-second timer, quick 10-minute timer, quick hour timer, or of course you can customize it as much as you want. And then we have stopwatch, pretty simple. Hit play, it's going to start counting, stop, reset. We go back to that timer real quick, and probably wondering to know, let's see here, if we can get down to 0. Let's do a 5-second timer so you can hear what it's going to sound like. You get a visual and the countdown. So you get a nice little auditory reminder there that the timer has expired. And if you didn't notice there, that it did have that little visual as well as that countdown, which is, it's pretty awesome. Now what we want to do next, looking at the clock, there are a couple options here with this clock. Notice this is an analog clock, which is great for teaching time. If you want a digital clock, well, of course you do have one here on the home screen, but you do have the option to go to this gear, and you have the style of clock that you'd like to have displayed. So this is what the digital clock looks like. It does have seconds. Or you can go back to analog. You can turn off that option for seconds as well. Now those options are just found through the gear. Again, great for teaching time to younger students or older if they need it. All right, so, and I think I showed just about everything there is with the clock and the timer. Last little thing I want to mention here, a couple things here. The full screen option gets a lot larger. So if you're having students do something in the classroom and you want them all to be able to see it without it being too small, you could do it here. So if we do a large timer for 10 minutes, start. There we go. Definitely large enough for the entire class to see. Counting down, again, we get that visual that will slowly start to shrink and work its way around. And then of course we can stop and reset and do all of that. Stopwatch is the same way. You can condense, make it smaller again by tapping that option. Definitely worth noting. Now the plus option here is to add a separate timer. You could have multiple timers going. So you have group projects. Each group can have their own timer or own stopwatch or something like that. Never tested to see how many we can actually have. Looks like they're color coded as well, which is fantastic. So we've got the green timer, purple timer, blue timer, and we max out at 4 timers, or stopwatches in this case. You can change these. Looks like we can have 4 timers or 4 stopwatches. Maybe we can have 4 clocks too, but I don't know why you would want that. All right, it's good to know. And let's take a look now. Let's get rid of these. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. That was the timer. The next thing I want to talk about, go back to locker here. Let's look at the spinner. Spinner is another fantastic option that's included within this panel. And by default, it opens up as just a color selector. So you can give this thing a spin. Really just tap on it. It doesn't matter how hard you do it. It's about the same every time. Looks like blue was the winner. Now this is just the presets here. Again, you can make this larger if you'd like, if that's too small for people to see. So now we have a larger spinner. Let's change it from colors to names. These are the default names. I doubt you have this exact group of students in your class. So what we'll have to do to edit these is to hit the little pencil that appears next to the option. And here you'll see the list of names. And if you hit the trash can, you want to delete this spinner. We don't want to delete the spinner. Let's just change the names. Again, that on-screen keyboard will show up. And now let's go with, let's add a Henry to this list. So there we got Henry. And Henry with a smile face? Sure. There are emojis. Going back, whoop, need that smile face. Okay, so now we have our new name. Let's hit save. Illegal character. You can't add emojis on this apparently, so I'm gonna get rid of the illegal character. Oh man, so illegal. All right, so did I not hit save? Of course I didn't. Let's try that again. Names, edit. Let's change Emily to Henry and see how this works. Now I'll hit save. Don't forget to hit save, otherwise it won't save your edited names. Okay, now we're gonna change this up. We'll spin it and see who wins. It's pretty nice. Henry won. This is a good day. You can add as many names as you'd want to this. It does cap out at 60 names. So I did test that to make sure that you can fit your entire class worth of students on this spinner for a random name selector. And the nice thing about this, if you spend the time to edit this list and add your entire class on here and hit save, you don't have to do that every time you want to use this spinner. So Henry is now saved on this. If you would have done your entire class and saved this thing and closed the spinner, the next time you open up that locker and go to the spinner option, you'll see that it is saved. So don't think that you have to manually edit this thing every time. It's a one and done. Just remember to hit save. The other types of spinners that you of course have numbers, vowels, consonants, and alphabet even, all of which are fully editable. So, and you can even create your own custom one from scratch if you'd like. Let's take a look at the options that are available. Using the gear, select item once and sound. I think we need sound. Let's hear what this sounds like. All right, I'm gonna call this one Jacob is gonna win. Now we hear the sound. I don't think Jacob is going to win. Ashley is the winner this time. So pretty interesting. One last thing with this, just like the timer and the clock, you can hit the plus sign and have an additional spinner, up to 4, I believe, if it's anything like the others. Yep, we max out at 4. Okay, so that is an overview of the options for timer and spinner within the ActivPanel's built-in software.